diapers on a plane.
All right, welcome. This is podcast number 39, and it is the Christmas season. It is upon us, so we are going to be talking about some of the past Christmases that we have celebrated. And the very first Christmas that we celebrated away from home was in
Iceland.
Yes, now we just... Iceland! Now, at the time, we just had the twins, and it was in the year 2013, so they were about 2.5. And we decided to go to Iceland for a couple reasons. We had read...
Daddy.
Yes, that's Daddy. Okay, you sit right here next to Daddy. We had read that Iceland is one of the top...
Mommy.
Yeah, I remember specifically the reason we went to Iceland, and this is a really important story, is Catherine got on Google and said, where are the top places to go for Christmas? And Iceland, what was it, number 10?
It was one of the top 10.
It was one of the top 10. It wasn't the top 10, but we're like, who had ever thought about going to Iceland for Christmas? It was new. It was an adventure.
So we decided to go top 10 places to go. It was somewhere in the top 10. So we were like, it's cold, it's snowy, it'll be amazing. It'll be so much fun.
Yeah, go ahead.
At Iceland, the water was really warm because there was a big volcano around it.
And why do you remember it so well?
Because Widmore told me.
Because Widmore told you.
Okay, you
yeah,
have a turn.
you were still in Mommy's tummy, huh?
Okay, you want a turn? Okay.
A turn. So at the time, and Catherine, I don't know how much we want to mention about this, but
Yes, go ahead, talk.
part of the reason we're
Okay, should we go take a nap? Okay,
Go nap.
okay. Say Iceland. Say Iceland for Christmas. Okay,
Iceland?
You have a turn. Say Iceland for Christmas. Say Iceland.
No.
Okay, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay.
I remember one thing.
Yeah.
It was there were like these pools, like hot springs, and they were underground, and there were underground volcanoes. So even though it was really cold when you went in the water, it would probably sting for the first few minutes. But it was really warm. We went to go swim in them.
That is right. So we landed in Iceland for our Christmas festivities on December 23rd. And that just happens to be my birthday. The 23rd of December is the official kickstart to Christmas in Iceland, known as Þorláksmessa.
Þorláksmessa.
and it's important to note, if you are going to Iceland, if you are planning Christmas in Iceland, definitely should be there on the 23rd. That's the day that it kicks off, and it is also known as the day of the stinky fish eating.
All right, so let's get to that. First, who else wants to try and say that word?
Þorláksmessa.
Okay.
Þorláksmessa.
All right. Who knows if we're doing that right or not?
So Þorláksmessa. So we got there. We arrived on the 23rd. I think. Long story short, I think that's the soonest we could leave because of work.
Yeah, I think so. And I remember we got there really early in the morning, and we couldn't check into our hotel because it was like 4 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So we got our rental car, and we drove straight from the airport, and we decided to just kick it off at the Blue Lagoon, which was a great way to start Christmas in Iceland. The land was covered in ice and snow, like you do. It's Iceland, and it was cold.
Yep. Yeah, and spoiler alert, we look like Icelanders.
Yeah.
We do not speak like Icelanders. So it was interesting when we went to Blue Lagoon, everybody was just speaking in Icelandic to us. And we would say, we don't speak Icelandic. And they would just look at us and say, I don't believe you. And keep speaking in Icelandic. They're like, are you sure you don't speak? And I'm like, yep, we're sure.
And I remember something that Widmore said. So Widmore said when we were in a house, he said that something about Iceland. So I remember that he said, so the pools were really warm there, and we would go in them, and there was like a big volcano around it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so Iceland is a big volcano, pretty much. So the Blue Lagoon, if you haven't been there, we'll show some pictures. but it's a big man-made hot pot. It's a hot geothermic waiting area? Soaking pools?
So, the Blue Lagoon?
Yeah.
So the Blue Lagoon is actually man-made.
That's what
from that, geothermal plant. Yeah, so it's not deep.
It's like a therapeutic wading pool. It's hot, it's geothermal. There's a lot of volcanic ash, a lot of volcanic mud. People rub that on their faces. It's supposed to exfoliate. It's supposed to do all that.
Well, it's really
stuff.
healing because of all the minerals that are in it from the land and from I don't think we're really prepared to talk about this.
It's also super expensive and touristy, but this is not why we came to talk about the Blue Lagoon.
All things considered, this trip was actually one of our better trips. We do tend to make a lot of mistakes on our trip. This one, really the only mistake that we made, which ended up working out great, is that we didn't really research the Blue Lagoon before we went. It's a huge touristy area. It's something that we knew we wanted to do. Because we got there before opening, we were able to get in just fine. But if you read anything about the Blue Lagoon, it's extremely hard to get into. Even now, I think you might have to make reservations. But we were able to waltz right in. We had a great time. We spent several hours there and then we went to our hotel. So that's a great way to kick off celebrations. We would absolutely recommend going to the Blue Lagoon, although there are lots of other hot springs that you can do around the country.
Surprises me whenever we're always late for everything.
we are, but we were forced to be there on time because of when our plane landed. So, very astute observation. So,
okay, one of the things I want to talk about is after the Blue Lagoon, it's the 23rd, it's Þorláksmessa, or however you pronounce it. We get to the hotel, we open the doors, and it would just like this smell just hit us right in the face.
So somehow, or for some reason, Icelanders love kicking off their Christmas season by eating a fish that tastes, well, at least it smells, well, you tried it. It tastes like urine.
Yeah, well, it's fermented fish, so it's really heavy in ammonia and different chemicals. So what they do is they take these Icelandic fish that basically have antifreeze for blood, and it's normally poisonous if a human eats it. And so they have to ferment it for about 9 months. And this chemical reaction happens, and it actually turns that blood into ammonia and makes it so it's safe for human consumption. And we use that term loosely, right? And
you also might see it called harkal.
Yeah.
So those are the two types.
So I'm not trying to disparage it, but it has a strong smell and taste. And so when we get into there on the 23rd, it's the custom there. It's culturally they eat that fish on that day. And so we get to the front desk, and the first thing that the person at the front desk says is, "Don't worry, it doesn't always smell like this."
But it does. I mean, you don't really get the smell out. In fact, the coat that I was wearing, like, never stopped smelling of it. It just like infests everything. But that's not what it's called. So it's actually called skate. I don't know what we just said.
Kasketa.
The Christmas festivities are called Þorláksmessa, and the fish is called either skate or harkal.
Yeah, I think there's a few different varieties.
Video.
Yep.
All right.
So one of our strongest memories is that fish because it never leaves your senses.
Yeah, it burns your nostrils, and you can't smell anything the rest of the time.
So let's talk about some of the other unique things about Christmas in Norway.
Yeah, so there's lots of differences between...
Sorry, let's talk about some of the other unique things about Christmas in Iceland.
Yes, so there are lots of differences between celebrating Christmas in the United States, of course, where we are from, or celebrating them in Iceland. And one of the things is Santa Claus. So they celebrate Santa Claus, and Santa Claus does come to Iceland, but he also has kind of like little mini Santa Clauses. They're called the Yule Lads. They're the Icelandic Yule Lads, and there's 13 of them, and they are mischievous. They're kind of super naughty. They're kind of mean, and they come around all through the Christmas season, and they spy on you and play tricks on you, and they do all sorts of naughty things. We didn't get tricked. I don't know if we were quite there long enough, but what we did spy one at a Christmas market that we went to. And that's another really big thing to do in Iceland, anywhere in Europe really, is to visit a Christmas market.
So what were they?
What were they? That's a great question. Let's talk about it.
So before we get to the Yule Lads, to point this out, the Christmas festivities begins on Christmas Eve, which is the 24th. So Christmas is actually considered the second day of Christmas instead of the first. The 23rd is like when they eat the kickstart where they eat the rotten fish. So each of these 13 Yule Lads celebrates one day of Christmas. So we'll talk about which ones they all are, but essentially each one comes and brings a gift or a piece of coal or a rotten potato.
All right. Okay, so who would like to do the first? Who are the first two Yule Lads, Pie?
Stiffy legs. He tries to suckle using farmer sheep sheds. What does that mean?
Yeah, let's skip that one. No, that's fine. So he drinks the milk out of the sheep.
He steals the milk sheep.
Yeah.
The sheep from the milk. He steals the sheep from the milk. That's what he does. Stiffy legs. Okay. What is the next one?
Gully Gawk. He steals foam from buckets of milk.
Okay, so remember when we were milking the goats? And when it's raw, you've got all the milk in the bottom, and then what rises to the top?
Foams.
Yeah, foamy stuff. Yeah, so that's what Gully Gawk does, okay? Stubby is short, and he steals food from the frying pan.
Oh, so you're trying to make like and he's the over egg and he just steals it and you're like, oh, I gotta start a new one.
Yeah, okay.
Next one, hold on. They say spoon liquor.
Spoon liquor.
What do you think spoon liquor does?
He licks spoons.
He licks the spoon. Literally licks the spoons.
Yeah, okay, next.
Pot liquor. He steals unwashed pots and licks them clean.
Interesting. So
That doesn't sound naughty, that sounds helpful. Well, sure, still wash them. It's like a dog.
So, I hate to break to you, you're all pot lickers too, like especially when Mom makes brownies.
Okay, bowl liquor. What do you think the bowl liquor does?
He licks bowls.
Nope. He steals bowls of food.
Yeah.
Kind of misleading compared to all the other liquors who lick things clean. He actually steals the food.
Okay, next one.
Door slammer. He keeps everyone awake slamming doors left ajar.
Yeah, a jar means like you didn't quite close it all
So
the way.
if you leave a door open, door slammer, he's gonna slam it shut and wake you up in the middle of the night.
Okay, you guys, do you remember this? What's the next one?
Sky gobbler. He eats up all the sky. What's sky?
I think it might be pronounced sicker.
Skyrgamer.
Sicker, not sure. But he eats it all. It must be something that it's probably milk. I don't know.
It's yogurt.
Oh, is it yogurt?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's like Scandinavian yogurt. It's really thick.
Alright. So he eats all the Scandinavian
Sounds
yogurt.
like a clay.
Yeah, and I'm disappointed because you guys did a twins take test, a taste test. The three of you did a taste test on what this yogurt tastes like.
We did.
Okay, what's the next one?
Sausage swiper. He makes his escape with strings of unattended sausages. I like sausage.
So don't leave your sausage out because
Yep.
sausage swiper will swipe that sausage.
So I think that's the thing in Iceland is I can imagine they hire people just to watch their sausage, right?
Yeah.
So that the Icelandic Yule Lads don't make off with it. That would be a travesty.
Next one is sausage swiper. Window peeper. He likes to creep around outside and peek into it.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's spying.
Yeah.
You got his spine.
He's a bit of a pervert.
Okay, door sniffer. He has a huge nose and he sniffs out baked goods to make off with. What's another name for that? Mom? Does Mom like to do that?
Yeah.
I share. But I do like to make baked goods, huh?
Okay, what's the next one?
Another one. Meat hook. Probably takes meat from people.
What does he use to steal it?
He uses his hook.
Yeah, do you think he probably looks like Captain Hook on his hand?
Yeah.
Ah.
Maybe he has a nose for a hook.
Oh, well, hey, even better. All right, and the last one, Pie?
Candle beggar. He steals candles which used to be sought after items in Iceland.
All right, yeah, so then you've got the candle stealer.
Yeah.
All right.
So these are the Icelandic Yule Lads, and this is super fun. So they have a way of extending and I think this is why Iceland is one of the top 10 places to visit, is they extend Christmas over these 13 days, and they have markets every day that you can go shopping at, because these Yule Lads will bring gifts to the children every night, right? So you have to go to the markets every day, And then every day there's a new Yule Lad running around in costume at these farmers markets, and it's super fun.
Yeah, and it really, one of the things that we world schooled when we were in Iceland is learning about why the song, the 12 Days of Christmas, right? Or the 13 Days of Christmas. These all originated from Europe, and this is still one of their really strong traditions that they celebrate there. And it's super cool. So another thing that goes along with the Yule Lads is that they don't have traditional Christmas stockings in Iceland. They use boots. Now there are several European countries, all Scandinavian, that use boots for Christmas stockings, which was great for us because we didn't have to pack stockings. We could just use the boots that we were already...
I would clean mine first of all. My candy cane wouldn't be smelly.
There you go. I think that's a great idea.
And I will get my biggest boot.
Yeah, and you leave your boots out every night, and these Yule Lads come and they either leave you a gift, like Gabriel talked about, or a rotten potato. No coal here, rotten potatoes.
Yep. So that's something that really stood out. What else was our favorite things about Christmas in Iceland?
Well, I know you really loved... We went to a Christmas feast at the hotel we were staying at. We got to eat a lot of unusual food, not just rotten shark or... What did we say it was?
Harlequin,
Stingray?
Scotty? Yeah, stingray. It was either stingray or shark.
Yeah, so it's not just eating that, but we also got to try reindeer.
Yeah, so some of my favorite food there was reindeer. They hand carved it at your table, and then they had this amazing pork belly. Those are some of the foods that I really stood out. But they really take their food seriously. So it's really dark in Iceland. It's very family centric. Everyone really celebrates Christmas to the T. I think that's why it's so amazing to go there. So these are some of our favorite things.
Decorations are a really big part of Christmas in Iceland. And like Gabe mentioned, because everything is dark, they have to do something to brighten up the winter season. And one of the things they do is they do paint the roofs of their houses a really bright color. Because Iceland has a lot of rolling hills because of the volcanoes, but they also put lights in all the windows.
Yeah, so it was super bright. They had light. Everybody celebrated. Everybody had lights in their windows. It was very festive. It had a really warm feeling. It felt very unified.
And a lot like Hanukkah. A lot like Hanukkah, they have a candelabra that has 13 candles for the 13 days of Christmas, and they light one every day. And they stay lit all the way until all 13 days are done and the whole Christmas season is over. So,
They have really tall candles.
yeah, they have really tall candles. Yeah, they have all sorts of candles. They have candles everywhere.
And how did they decorate their trees?
You guys should know this one.
A lot of lights.
A lot of lights. What else do they put on their Christmas trees?
Stars.
Everybody
A
puts,
star.
yeah, a star. Yeah. Come on. How do we celebrate our Christmas?
We put cranberries. We put cranberries.
And what else?
Fruit.
And fruit. And why do we do that?
Because we're Scandinavian.
Yes, we have Scandinavian ancestry, so we have always decorated our tree with slices of fresh grapefruit. Depends on the color scheme we're going for, right? If we want a pink Christmas tree, we do grapefruit. If we want an orange Christmas tree,
We do oranges. If we want a yellow Christmas tree, we do lemons. I like that.
and limes, we've done limes before.
I like to lick them once they're cut.
Yep. So, and that originated in the Scandinavian countries in Europe, and in Iceland they still decorate their trees with fresh fruit. So they don't use ornaments.
We do cherries and blueberries.
Of
That would be a fun idea.
Yeah, we did.
Or
That's the
blackberries.
Sanic one.
All right, so after you've eaten your skate or your harkal on the 23rd and it's been kicked off, you go get a book. Everybody in Iceland celebrates with a book for Christmas. And one of the reasons they do that is
They read a lot there, for one. I don't know why.
they also publish the most books than
that's
any
true.
other country on Earth.
Good. I like reading.
Yeah, they're bibliophiles, for
Yes.
sure.
So we made sure to get books for our Christmas festivities, and everybody got a book for Christmas, and we've continued that tradition ever since 2013. Everybody gets a book for Christmas. And in fact, we did buy a book there. I bought a book there to kick it off, and it's still one of my favorite books. It was a little bit dark, but it was a really good book. It was really interesting. All right, so after you've got your book, after you've eaten your shark and you've cleaned up all the smells as best as you can, you start preparing your food. And there's lots of different types of food that they eat. One of the things they eat on Christmas Day Reindeer and lamb are very typical in an Iceland home that you celebrate, that you eat on Christmas. And lots of your favorite food.
Potatoes?
Potatoes!
Oh, do they do ogres and potatoes?
Yes, absolutely. And then they make a type of flat biscuit, laufabröd. It's thin and it has intricate and beautiful designs etched in. And they make lots of almond cookies. In fact, they make 12 types of cookies. So they make lots and lots of cookies. So they've prepared all their food, they've gotten everything ready. What kicks off Christmas?
Opening presents.
That's how it kicks off here, huh? But not in Iceland.
It kicks off with eating?
With eating, yes. But there's something very specific that happens that tells every house in all of Iceland that it's time to eat.
Cookies. A bell? A bell?
Bell, yes. Where does the bell come from?
The church?
The church. You guys do remember a lot. We've talked about that. We talk about this a lot at Christmas. Yes, it's the Hallgrímska Church, at least in Reykjavik. Yes, and it's the church at the top of the hill, the highest point in the city. And it rings the bell, and everybody can hear it in all of their houses. It has the most beautiful organ in the church.
So do you sit in our chair until it starts ringing, and then you start eating?
Yep, everybody's preparing their food. They can watch the clock. It happens at 6 p.m. and everybody knows it's coming and they're getting excited. And their table is all beautiful and set and they've lit their candles.
And they just start yum, 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 yum.
And then they eat. All right, so when do they open presents then?
What, after the day of Christmas?
No, they eat them after dinner and they stay up all night long. And they unwrap presents and they read their books, right? They all have books. They have food for days. They have cookies for days, dozens and dozens of cookies, right?
The last 13 days?
Yeah, probably to last the whole season, because if you make a dozen, you'd make a dozen types of cookies. But how many cookies are you going to make of each type?
Dozens.
Yes, dozens. So they have dozens of cookies. They read their books. They open their presents. They eat their food. And they just spend time together. Now, something else happens that they can spend time together.
I don't remember it.
You wanted to talk about how everything shuts down, so that's how they can spend time
Oh,
together.
right. Yeah, so one of the big things there is I think it's 3 days, they shut down, they shut everything down. So the airport is shut down, the police stations are shut down, every single store is shut down for Christmas Eve and Christmas, right?
Yeah, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then they open up, I think, the third night at midnight.
So if you...
A bunch of caution tape on the sidewalks?
I don't remember that. I just think everybody knows that it's closed, so...
So if you're planning a trip there, book your restaurant reservations early, because if you don't, then you're eating, I guess, chips in your hotel room or something.
Yeah, so there are a few restaurants that stay open, but not very many. And, police stations, everything's closed, except for one thing. Do you remember the one thing that was open?
The one thing that was open? Oh, the coffee house, the volcano house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we ended up eating Christmas Eve dinner in our hotel. It was amazing. And then on Christmas, we went to the volcano house because it was the only thing open.
And it's open because the volcano is so sacred to them.
Yeah, so they keep that place open 365.
Yeah.
So it's open every day of the year. So we actually had some of the shark there. Some of that tasty.
Yeah, he didn't get enough, so he had to try it again.
I have to try it. I have to at least take a bite of anything weird at any country because it's my only chance to really do it.
Close.
I'm a foodie, what can I say? And another fun fact, I actually brought packaged fish home for all of my coworkers too. I think they kept it as a souvenir. They never opened them.
So, in addition to the Christmas markets, we also, and I just remembered this, so we did have that fabulous dinner at our hotel, but we also ate at that amazing buffet in town at that Christmas market.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the Christmas village we went to on the 23rd and had the amazing buffet was called the Hafnarfjörður.
Hafnarfjörður.
That's a perfect pronunciation. Hafnarfjörður. No, I don't know.
So that was the Christmas village, and what was the Christmas buffet called?
Oh, that was the... Okay.
Fjordkrane. Viking restaurant in
Reykjavik.
Fjordkrane.
Fjordkrane.
I don't know. It's like you're speaking backwards and playing it forwards. I think that's how you speak Icelandic.
It's very impressive. So, you don't want to be insulting.
Oh yeah, it's the worst place ever. Don't go. Avoid at all costs.
So we have lost that ability of our ancestry to be able to speak good Icelandic words. Actually, fun fact, the Icelandic language has the longest one single word in any language in all of the world. So, very cool.
Wait, the longest word?
Yeah, the longest word of any language, like, has the most characters of any word in any language. Icelandic has the longest word. And it's this word, whatever it is.
That one?
No.
How can I even say that without reading it? Vabla idav or ine of ra'i reich slask kura the ra keep o ringer.
All right.
Nailed it.
Wait, which word is it?
The really long one up there.
This one?
Yeah.
Yep. So apparently it means a keychain ring for the outdoor key of road workers' shed in a moor called Vadlaheidi. Oh, because that's the first word. Vadleider gaven Jurkenfergen Gimeslurkerturkert Furkeliker Purperhinger.
You missed the kip part.
I nailed it. Kipperhinger.
All right. What was really cool about the buffet, the first buffet we went to was, there was tons of cheese, of course, but it was in this really, really cool cabin. It was right next to the Christmas market, and they had everything served in a sleigh. A wooden sleigh, and then you had wooden plates that you ate, and you took it back to your table and you ate it. But it was just so beautiful, and Santa was riding the sleigh in the back, and then it was a trough filled with all of these amazing foods.
I kind of really want to go back.
I want to go back everywhere.
I want to go back.
You want to? Yeah, you don't remember, and you were never there. Do you want to go back?
I was kind of really excited to eat reindeer there. I don't know why. It's one of those things. It's a bucket list.
So it had all of the Christmas foods that we've talked about. It had lamb, it had smoked lamb, it had hangeshot, it had the leaf bread, it had lots of cookies, lots of potatoes, and of course the shark, because we were there on the 23rd.
Oh yeah, I had to eat some of that. At least I took a nibble.
Yeah.
To say I did.
Yes, and you guys all tried it too. Like, you guys have always been really good at adventurous eaters, and we do always try to eat the local food. Some of us, named Gabriel, are much better than the rest of us.
Yep.
Gabriel's really good. Yes, sorry. Widmore and Dad are the best. They try everything, and they never ever miss an opportunity.
But honestly, the fish was a little bit an acquired taste, but everything else was just incredible. Like, it was so delicious. So on Christmas, we ate at our hotel. We had to get reservations like weeks in advance, I believe. Because it's the only thing open, it was the only thing available to us. The Icelandic people pretty much just eat at home on Christmas.
We stayed at a hotel, not at an Airbnb, and we didn't have a kitchen, so we had to eat out. So there is a list of all of the things that they eat on Christmas. It includes ham, it includes grouse bird with
Smart name?
yeah. No, that was Panama.
There's reindeer, ptarmigan.
Yep, a grouse bird. They eat a lot of cabbage there. Rice pudding. So all sorts of just really interesting, authentic foods. And that buffet, it wasn't as cool as the first one, just because it was in a hotel and it wasn't in the Christmas village, and they didn't have a trough with Santa in it, but it was still really, really, it was really authentic. It was really cool.
They treated us right, for sure.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay, so I think that kind of brings us to the conclusion. We really wanted to just talk about what we loved about Christmas in Iceland. So just to summarize, Catherine, what were the major key points that we enjoyed there?
So the food was incredible. It made Christmas such a unique experience, and it really set our Christmas that we're used to having in the States apart. So we could always remember that Icelandic Christmas was just a really different experience.
And then the Yule Lads was a big thing, a completely different way of celebrating Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Is that his little 13 brothers came and did crazy things and brought gifts for everybody.
Yep, and then the last one I think is just, it was dark, but it didn't feel gloomy. It was just so bright and festive. There were lights everywhere. Everything was red and green and gold and bright. All the windows had lights in them, and everything just always felt just really warm and loving and celebratory of the season.
Yeah, I would say the Christmas spirit was thick. It was
Yeah.
everywhere, and you could feel it everywhere, from the villages to everywhere you went. It was beautiful.
All right, so let us know if you have any questions about celebrating Christmas in Iceland, and stay tuned because we are going to talk about Christmas in Norway. We're also going to talk about celebrating Christmas in Panama, and I think these kids will have a lot more to say about that because they were all there and they'll all remember. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye!
Merry Christmas!
Bye. Bye. Merry Christmas.
Gledelig Jol! Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas! Gledelig Jol!
And a happy pandemic to you.